Over the last few years, magnesium quietly moved from a wellness talking point to one of the most formulated minerals in the supplement aisle. For the brands and beverage companies in this market, that shift changed the question. It's no longer whether to put magnesium on the label. It's how to build a product around it that actually performs. And the questions got harder. Which form delivers the absorption consumers expect? Which dose can you fit into a capsule or a gummy without making it unpleasant to take? Which format does the product need to live in? And underneath all of it, which supplier can actually back the answer with documentation and supply your production line? Because a formulator's checklist is unforgiving. The ingredient has to taste neutral enough for the format. It has to stay stable through processing and shelf life. It has to arrive with documentation a quality team can audit. It has to ship reliably. And it has to clear compliance for the US market. An ingredient that fails any one of these can stall an entire launch. This is where MagneINNO comes in. MagneINNO is a portfolio of fully chelated magnesium bisglycinate ingredients, built for brands that need proof, performance, and practical support, not just a spec sheet. It's designed to behave like a technical partner across the whole development process, from first sample to scaled production. So it's worth being precise about what MagneINNO actually is. A true chelate is not a physical blend of magnesium and an amino acid sitting side by side. In magnesium bisglycinate, the magnesium ion is chemically bound to two glycine molecules, closing into a stable ring structure. That ring is the whole point, and it's what separates a real chelate from a mixture that merely looks like one on a label. And the ring matters for a practical reason. A simple blend or a weakly bound form can come apart in the acidic environment of the stomach and behave more like an inorganic salt. A properly formed chelate is designed to hold its structure through that environment, so the magnesium stays protected on its way to where it's actually absorbed. Form, in other words, is not a detail, it's the mechanism. The logic changed together simply: protect, stay intact, transport. The chelate shields the magnesium through digestion, keeps its structure where weaker forms would break down, and presents it in a form the small intestine is well equipped to take up, including through amino acid and peptide transport pathways. For a formulator, that's the difference between magnesium that's on the label and magnesium that's positioned to be absorbed. And that advantage is measurable. In an in vitro digestion model, fully chelated magnesium bisglycinate delivered roughly 64% uptake, compared to about 47% for citrate and just 8% for oxide, roughly an 8 times advantage over the cheapest form. That's not a marketing number, it's a bench finding, and it tells the same story the absorption literature has been pointing to for years. Which raises the question every serious buyer asks next: how do you know? Plenty of materials are labeled chelated. Far fewer come with the analytical work to prove it. MagneINNO's answer is to treat verification as part of the product. We don't ask a customer to trust the word on the spec sheet. We characterize the chelate and we hand over the evidence. And the verification doesn't rest on a single test. Where many suppliers confirm chelation with 1 or 2 methods, MagneINNO characterizes the chelate from 7 independent directions. 5 run on every batch and 2 available on request. X-ray diffraction confirms the crystal structure. Thermogravimetric and differential scanning analysis read the thermal fingerprint. Mass spectrometry confirms the molecular weight. Infrared and near-infrared spectroscopy identify the functional groups. And nuclear magnetic resonance maps the molecular environment. Each method looks at chelation from a different angle. And one of them we've taken further than anyone. To make that concrete, thermogravimetric analysis produces a thermal signature consistent with magnesium bisglycinate dihydrate, a specific, repeatable fingerprint that a quality team can actually audit. It's not a marketing adjective, it's a measurement on a curve that either matches or it doesn't. That's the kind of proof point procurement and R&D reviewers are trained to look for.
Here's a problem the industry has never cleanly solved.
How do you prove a material is truly chelated and not just magnesium oxide blended with loose glycine? The usual tools fall short. Infrared is only qualitative, and X-ray diffraction needs costly equipment, pure reference standards, and a specialist. MagneINNO uses a proprietary, patent-pending method built on thermal analysis. The TGA and DSC instruments almost every QC lab already owns. No specialist, no exotic prep, just a measurement your own team can run. The logic is elegant. A true chelate ring breaks down between 120 and 200 degrees Celsius. Free, unreacted glycine doesn't break down until 220 to 270. Those windows sit more than 50 degrees apart, so on the curve, real chelation and loose filler simply can't hide in each other. Against pure chelate and physical blend reference standards, that gap converts into a single chelation score from 0 to 100%. And because TGA and DSC run on the same sample in the same pass, we cross-check the two independent results and only release when they agree. It turns fully chelated, gentle on the stomach, from an adjective into a number your quality team can audit. All of that verification rolls up into something a buyer can actually use: a data pack. Certificate of analysis, supporting analytical reports, and third-party verification, organized for the people who have to sign off: purchasing, quality, and R&D. The goal is straightforward. When your team runs supplier qualification on MagneINNO, the documentation is already in their hands. MagneINNO is manufactured to 10 independent certifications, from NSF/GMP and FDA facility registration to ISO 9001, FSSC 22000, and BRCGS food safety, the standards your own quality and compliance teams already audit against. From that one verified chelate platform, MagneINNO branches into 3 application grades, because a capsule, a stick pack, and a gummy are genuinely different formulation problems. Rather than force one material to compromise across all of them, each grade is tuned for a specific path. Same chemistry, same verification, 3 different jobs. The first grade is the taste-optimized 12%. With the highest magnesium content in the portfolio, it's the natural starting point for capsules, tablets, and powder blends, formats where dose efficiency is the priority and every milligram of fill space counts. The second grade trades a little density for a cleaner sensory profile. It keeps full chelation while reducing the off notes that magnesium can bring into anything you drink, which makes it the natural choice for stick packs, ready-to-drink beverages, and effervescence. Here the ingredient is part of the consumer experience, so how it tastes is part of the spec. The third grade goes furthest on taste. It's engineered for the most flavor-sensitive formats: flavor drinks, gummies, and functional foods, where even a faint mineral note can pull a whole product off balance. It lets a development team add meaningful magnesium to a format that lives or dies on flavor, without fighting the base every step of the way. Put together, the portfolio gives a product team a simple way to choose. When fill space is the constraint, lean toward higher density. When the ingredient becomes part of what the consumer tastes, lean toward the cleaner grades. It's not one material stretched to fit everything. It's a deliberate set of options, matched to how the product is actually made. And behind the ingredient is a company that can stand behind it. MagneINNO is a branded ingredient from NutraceuticaL, the US-facing arm of a global ingredient operation with more than 30 years in the business and over 1,000 tons of annual production capacity. The company runs a 50,000 square foot California warehouse with dozens of tons ready to ship and fast US dispatch. Regional offices and stock locations span North America, Europe, and Asia. So when you engage MagneINNO, you're not sourcing from an unknown. You're working with an established ingredient house through a domestic point of contact, with inventory already in the country. Practically, that backing shows up as a workflow, not just a bag of powder. It starts with samples in a data pack for evaluation, moves through application fit support for your specific format, and continues into domestic purchase orders, US-held inventory for faster turnaround, and shipping support. The intent is to make MagneINNO feel less like an import you have to manage, and more like a supplier already set up to support your line. So this is the through line. The next magnesium opportunity isn't another claim on a label. It's verified chemistry that can actually move into real products. A true chelate, characterized from 7 independent angles, supplied in grades matched to how you formulate, and backed by a company set up to support a US production line. That's what MagneINNO is built to be. If you're evaluating magnesium for an upcoming formulation, the next step is simple. Request a sample and the data pack and see which MagneINNO grade fits your format: capsule, stick pack, beverage, or gummy. Bring it to your quality and R&D teams. Put the verification in front of them and let the documentation make the case. MagneINNO, verified chelation, ready to formulate, US stock. Let's talk about your next launch. Request a sample today at our office website, MagneINNO.com.